The Susan Brender Show is a radio show online broadcasted on YouTube across the United States and globally. The show features guests who speak about health, spirituality, entertainment, and a host of subjects to enlighten people across the nation. Listen to the show that empowers women and men alike and highlights those who have made a difference.
I'm Susan Brender, and this is the Susan Brender Show. And I'm so proud to have Hampton Callaway on my show. She's one of the most gifted artists in pop and jazz, a leading champion of the great American Songbook. She made her mark as a singer, a pianist, a composer, a lyricist, an arranger, an actress, and an educator, and a TV host and a producer. Wow. That is really amazing. She is the best known for the Tony-nominated performance in the hit Broadway musical Swing, and for writing and singing in the theme song to the hit TV series The Nanny. She made her feature film debut opposite Angelina Jolie and Matt Damon in the Robert De Niro film The Good Shepherd. And I want to welcome Hampton Callaway to the Susan Brender Show.
Hey, Susan, so nice to speak with you, and thank you for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure, believe me. Please tell us about your recent introduction to the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. That must have been very, very exciting.
Well, I would have to say it's one of the hugest honors of my life, and having the great Melissa Manchester present the award to me, who's one of my heroes, was exceptionally moving. And it was a very powerful evening, and it was an interesting situation to understand that women for many, many years have not gotten nearly the same amount of recognition, even though they've had perhaps the same, or if not more, a bigger impact in music. And so it was really meaningful for me to be acknowledged for my years of songwriting, for people like Barbra Streisand and numerous other artists. And it was something that I feel I need to live up to. And my sister stood up, and she was there as well, and we sang together, and it was extremely moving evening.
I want to know why women are not accepted, as you say.
I want to know that too. I don't understand it. It's the 21st century, and so many things about our time are so bewildering to me. I sometimes feel like life has become the theater of the absurd. But I think a lot of women are so dedicated to the actual process of writing beautiful, powerful songs to move people's hearts, that they're not always as interested in all the fame and glitter and around it. That's not the reason why most of us do what we do. We do it because we're called to do it, because we feel it makes a difference, and we want to express something that we have a gift in expressing in a way that makes the world perhaps a little bit of a better of a place. It's still a man's world in so many ways, and how wonderful that Janice decided to do something about it and to have more women be recognized.
I understand you have a new CD called Fever, a Peggy Lee Celebration. Tell us about the songs on the CD and your emotions doing those songs.
Well, of course, with the title Fever, a Peggy Lee Celebration, Fever is the title track, and it is such a joy to celebrate a woman who was on my parents' turntable the day I was born. My dad loved Peggy Lee. I think he had a little bit of a crush on her. And I loved getting to see her live and see what a magnificent performer she was, the less is more approach, the ability to act as well as write great songs and sing them to perfection. And as a fellow pop singer-songwriter, I credit her with paving the way for women songwriters. Most people don't realize that Peggy Lee was one of the prominent singer-songwriters, the first famous female singer-songwriter of the 20th century. There were people like Carolyn Lee and Dorothy Fields who wrote great lyrics for movies and Broadway, but they weren't singing them. But Peggy did it all, and she did it with so much savoir that it isn't fair. So I included songs from her early days with Dave Barber, some of the Capitol Records hits, a few incredibly beautiful songs from her Broadway musical Peg, she wrote with Paul Horner. And I was extremely honored when Peggy Lee's granddaughter, Holly Foster Wells, who's doing an amazing job keeping up Peggy's legacy, gave me a poem by Peggy Lee called Clair de Lune, about the affair between Claude Debussy and his mistress, Gabrielle Dupont, which she wanted to make a movie about. Anyway, this poem had never been published, and she gave me the poem and asked me to set it to music. So I'm thrilled to have a song I wrote with my idol, Peggy Lee. And I have a great band, and John Pizzarelli is an incomparable guest artist. And I have to say, of the many CDs I've recorded in my career, this one has got the most comments like this should earn a Grammy Award, and that Spotify is just gobbling it up. I have so many streams going on right now. So I'm really happy that I released it, and I'm celebrating a woman who was one of the greatest proponents to the Great American Songbook, and in not only singing, but in writing.
What about young people? Are they listening to your music?
Yes, it's interesting. It's very ironic to me that in my legacy series of celebrating people like Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Barbra Streisand, Linda Ronstadt, Peggy Lee, people bring their young friends, or they hear about me somehow, and they're coming to my shows and they want to know a lot more about everybody. And it's ironic that, to me, these are superstars everybody should know who these people are. But if somehow they found out about me, the fact that I'm helping them to understand who these great women are is kind of ironic. But hey, in whatever ways we can make a difference, that's what happens. I think because I do master classes, I work with young people, I like meeting young people, I'm very friendly. I have a very nice mixture of people from all walks of life who come to my shows.
That's great. And you had the honor of writing songs for Barbra Streisand. She can be a little intimidating. Were you nervous at all?
I can talk to anybody in this world. I've spoken to presidents, world leaders, other famous people, but I will say that Barbra, even though I've been very dignified and personable with her, my heart always beats much faster when I'm around her, when I'm singing for her, when I'm writing for her. But I'm so grateful to her for giving me the chance to share my thoughts with millions and millions of people. The first song I wrote was a peace anthem that I wrote 10 years earlier than the day she recorded her final vocal for Higher Ground. And since she recorded that song, 9 million people have heard it.
Wow.
And I'm thrilled. And I'm going to be working on some songs to contribute to her next duet album. And her sideman, her right-hand man, gave me some wonderful ideas for the song. So I'll be busy doing that. And I have a new upcoming CD coming out September 29th. We just finished the art today. And it is 16 songs that I've written through the years, including my Barbra Streisand platinum hit at the same time. And people like Melissa Manchester, Tierney Sutton, Kurt Elling, my sister Liz Callaway are my duet singers. And then I have Alan Bergman as one of my co-authors, and Melissa, Amanda McBroom, and Michelle Browerman, and even the poetry of Robert Frost. So wow. It's a very exciting year, a very creative and uplifting year of doing what I love and putting it out there.
You do things that you love. Why do you choose these particular pieces?
Well, during the pandemic, I started doing singles of original songs because I thought, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this time. There's so many people dying. I mean, has never really been properly acknowledged how many people we lost during the pandemic. So I got to thinking about my bucket list, and I only really want to do things that really matter to me. And I've never done an entire album of Ann Hampton Callaway originals, and I've written about 400 songs, and it was high time that I do it. And so a dear friend who I met through, she commissioned songs for me, Deborah DiMartini, said, why don't we do a whole record of your songs? And so I am thrilled that this record is coming out at the end of the year, and that the Peggy Lee album was able to be released at the beginning of the year. And after 2 years of everything on hold, anything that's been a bucket list dream, I'm about that. That's what motivates me, is creating beauty and inspiration in a time that still feels very uncertain.
People, when they listen to you, they love you. There's nothing like you. You're a special person. And when you go to the Arts Garage, you fill up the audience because people think that you're the greatest artist in the world.
Oh, Well, that's awfully nice of you to say. I love singing at the Arts Garage. It's such a cozy, fun, relaxed place. And the audiences there are so warm. They're so sophisticated. They make me feel so welcome. And it just opens up my heart even more. And so I can't wait to open tonight my Peggy Lee Celebration. And then later on this year in December, I'll be bringing my Hampton Callaway Sings the 70s. And then that is a fabulous show that I will be premiering in New York next month. So it's a very busy and exciting time.
Do you have a favorite part of your career, and what do you have planned in the future?
Well, it's interesting. Somebody just sent me a possible Broadway musical script, and it's one of my dreams to write a Broadway musical. So I don't know if this is the one, but it would be really exciting to write a Broadway musical. I just did the Seth Rudetsky Broadway cruise. He's one of the greatest geniuses about Broadway, and he's been bugging me for years about writing a Broadway musical. So that will be something that I'm going to somehow make happen in the next 5 years. But I'm going to continue to record my own songs. The title of the CD I'm releasing in September is Finding Beauty Originals Volume 1. And so I'll be working on Volume 2. And then I will be doing in a very exciting project after Melissa Manchester finishes her year tour of Funny Girl. We are going to sit down with Diva the Jazz Orchestra, all women, brilliant jazz artists, and we are going to do a record together that's going to knock everyone's socks off. I'm very excited about that.
How long have you worked with Melissa Manchester?
Well, we met each other several years ago. We started trying to write a song, and then I had to go back to do my show and almost missed it because the traffic was so bad. And it wasn't only until last year I invited her to do a show with me at the Carpenter Center in LA, and we just hit it off in such a major way. It was such a deep emotional connection. And she asked me what I was doing, and I told me about my album, the Originals album, and she said, "Oh, is it too late to write something together?" And I said, "Absolutely not." It makes my album really long to have one more song, but it's just such a beautiful song. And so ever since that happened, I think we feel called to do more and write more and get to perform together. It's so much fun.
You know, sometimes there are questions that I ask you, but there must be something that you haven't said that you would like to tell the audience.
What an interesting question. Well, during the pandemic, every day during 2021 and 2022, I would write a poem every single day, and I shared it on social media. And it would be a dream come true to actually finish some of the lyrics of those poems and write more songs and to publish a book of poetry. That has been one of my life's passions and something I have not yet achieved. But the writing has really opened up channels in me spiritually to be a better songwriter and to feel more in touch with the universe. So my hope is to continue to do the work I love, to continue to grow, to continue to touch people's lives with the beauty and the power of music, which in these days when the world is so uncertain and there are so many disturbing things to grapple and try to grasp, music to me is one of the great things that keeps us a family of man, and it helps us to wake up in the morning, feel happy, feel like we can love each other, and that's what my life is about.
Well, if people want to get in touch with you, what is your website address?
It's very easy. It's AnnHamptonCallaway.com, and everybody can find me easily accessible on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And there's also it says contact Ann Hampton Callaway on my website. You can actually email me directly. And I'm what I call the friendly diva.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on my show. I really think that you're the best, and I hope that people recognize that you are really the most wonderful singer in the world. Thank you for being on my show.
I'm deeply honored. Those are beautiful words. Thank you so much.